Welcome to another episode of the Exponential Creativity Podcast. Um, I'm just gonna get right into it and we'll see how it goes. So, why do I do this podcast? I need to keep reminding myself this because I've realized that when I don't know the why of things, I feel like I'm not doing something. And it's very, very important that everything that I do is in somehow relate, related to is somehow related to what I want to achieve in my life. So I don't really want to do things which don't align with that. I mean, if I have to do them, I will. Um, but I would prefer not to. And if, I don't know, it's just trying to live a more life in line with the kind of person I want to become. So that's why the why is so important. I find that many a times when I don't know the why, and I don't feel like doing it. So why do I do this podcast? I do this podcast to keep a track of my progress, to track all my new ideas and concepts, because this thing right here is not a good place for memory, but it's a great place for creating ideas. And I've noticed that ever since I started writing down all my thoughts and every idea down or just recording it vocally on my phone, uh, something beautiful happens. Once the idea is not in your mind and it's outside of you, your mind is now free to use that information as an external source. And then you can create new ideas. So it's like you create the first iteration of an idea, and maybe it's not that different. The second iteration comes forward eventually, and the third and the fourth iteration, and then eventually you'll find that at the fourth, fifth iteration of an idea, people around you will start thinking like, "How did you think of that?" But it's just a process, So sometimes, as you come up with a new idea, it may be possible that it's not that great, but just create the idea and let it simmer, and you'll see that in a couple of days you come up with something better. And it's not even that you're trying to make something better; it just ends up happening. It's just a consequence of putting in the work. So and I can say, like, positively say that me doing this podcast has helped me bring a lot of clarity in the kind of things that I do. It has also brought a certain level of identity to who I am. I feel like I have been changing too quickly in the past couple of months and probably the last 2 years. So I just wanted to kind of have a place to keep track of how things actually went down, uh, you know. And I also kind of look at it this way, like if I do this for 50, 60 years, it's a great tool to kind of see how things went, how they went, and what they will become eventually. Or maybe like what I'm like 26, so 140 more years ish, 134 more years I'm planning to live. Well, we'll see about that. Um, and yeah, when I die, it's like a really cool obituary. People make autobiographies, and I'm writing my autobiography 1 week at a time. So, all right, let's move ahead. So, reporting progress. Yeah. So, this podcast, I've restructured it into basically three parts. One is progress, the second is failure, and the third is plans, like what's going to happen next. So, um, yeah, my health. Uh, I did not go to the gym this week, like just once actually, and I didn't even like lift a lot of weights or run really that long. So yeah, and it's just been a downward spiral actually for the past week and even the week before that. So I'm not particularly happy about that. But I'll get to why that didn't happen. My emotional health. Yes, I've been journaling. Nothing really I mean, actually, there's some worthwhile things to talk about later on, and I will talk about it. But yeah, I've been journaling mental health. Oh yeah, this is great. I've been reading a book called Danielle by Ray Kurzweil. It's an absolutely beautiful book. Uh, it's this book about um, how a little girl who's just been brought up in an environment where she's always given every resource and given the freedom to just think for herself and explore every possibility. And she uses technology to solve real world problems. And it does sound very rosy and very optimistic. But that's the whole point of the story, is that if you have the right optimism and if you have the the right skill sets, you can create ideas and you can create symbols and these things that can eventually solve the problem. So, um, and yeah, like there's there's this one thing in the book which resonated with me so much is this girl as she's growing up, she starts having panic attacks. Now, these panic attacks are essentially on the order of like, you know, how she describes it or how Ray Kurzweil describes it in his book, Danielle, is she imagines herself on a bridge, and it's a bridge to nowhere. And she's just walking and she's all alone. There's nobody with her on that bridge. And, each problem that she solves helps her not focus on that bridge for a bit, and that kind of, you know, calms her nerves. But that that and she goes further along the bridge because of that, but the bridge never really reveals itself to where it actually ends up. And uh, and that's the beauty as well as the the curse, because the curse is that you'd never know, and the beauty is that you'd never know. uh, because if you knew where you're going, you wouldn't want to go there anymore. you know uh, so it's just a beautiful book, and I found it very relatable in a lot of aspects, and I find it very inspiring. And I just love the lens that Ray Kurzweil has, the way he looks at the world. You know, so I'm excited to read all of his books. And I'm gonna finish this book pretty soon. It's an easy read. I mean, I'd say it's easy to read because it sounds like a fiction book. But I also think in order to completely comprehend what he's mentioning in the book, there's a lot of events. And if you are not aware of those events, you probably wouldn't completely get the gist of what he's talking about. But that's the beauty of it again. Like he's such a good writer that every event he's also tagged it as like what that event was at the end of the book. So if you don't know something, you can always go back in the book and see which real world event was Daniel trying to solve and how did she do it using technology, making the right groups and teams, and how she used violence in a good way and whatnot. But yeah, it's just a fun book, I think. Um, and yeah, energy state. I still haven't figured this out, but so far, it's this week has been better. There was one day where I was feeling very low, and that was the day I was actually going to perform on stage. Uh, I just was feeling very anxious, and I felt like I didn't eat well, and I was really like my heart was like, you know, heart palpitations. That's what they say. But I just found some solutions for that, which was to just lay down and sleep and breathe. So I think I was like laying down for like about 45 minutes, just breathing. I had my eyes closed and just like I was just focusing on my breathing. That helped. Um, but another thing that helps is again action. Action really helps, and being in a different environment helps. Not always, but sometimes. Um, I think another way to kind of control the energy state, or influence, I wouldn't say control, influence the energy state, is by taking like action, or like running around, or like doing something physical. Because that's like, if you had to say your mind and your body are connected, if you can't control your mind, you can at least focus on your body. And if you know, at least get something being done in the body, the mind kind of adapts to it. Um, Another advantage I'd say of going to the gym is like, when you lift a weight that you've not lifted before, or when you do something hard, like it's hard and you want to quit, but you're like, just I just have like seven more to go, or like three more reps to do or something. It's it feels like a small level of accomplishment, that, that this was something hard for you to do today, but you did it. And you just kind of gives a sense of accomplishment. You don't really feel like shit. Um, so yeah, anyway, so that's about my health, I guess. Um, I was at the same time feeling a very very positive energy state, which was right after the show. Actually, during the show, and I'll get to that in a bit. Social. Yeah, this week has been quite a beautiful week. I made new friends. Some were producers, some were composers, a web developer, some songwriters. I met comedians, and I met a host at a show, a venue owner, um, and I just feel like I've started developing these relationships, and I'm really excited about to see where these go in the future. And I've met some religiously inclined people, but for the and my whole life I used to think, like I not my whole life, but I've just met people who are like religiously inclined, who would be too protective of their faith. But what was interesting to me is, the people that I'm meeting now, they are completely, they don't care if you say anything that is against what they think, because if it is true, then it will prevail. So, and I like that. So I keep thinking of these devices to kind of communicate between a religious person and an agnostic person, and then hopefully having an atheist person, and just kind of uniting people. Because I really think that at the end of the day, it's just people who feel the same way, but just expressing it in a different way. And then the expression in a different way is what gives it its beauty, but at the same time as the curse, because people don't really connect on the differences. Then they kind of start having problems. So I'm glad I like meeting people who disagree with me. I met, actually I completely forgot. I met a couple of new students from MI as well. I like there's a huge influx of Asian students at my school, and I got to meet all of them. Very, very, some of them are very, very wise, and I think most of them are just party kids. But it was just fun meeting them. And I found somebody who was absolutely not agreeing with what I was saying, and I thought that this is like such a great idea to talk to him, because uh, he makes my argument stronger, and if I'm wrong, then I could also have a better argument going forwards. So I really like talking to him, and I'm gonna spend more time talking to him. I completely forgot about that. Um, Something good that I did, and I feel a little sense of accomplishment for this, is I helped a friend with her resume. I have a friend who is struggling with motivation, and she's surrounded by people who just bring each other down. And it's not that they're doing it out of some hate or something. It's just that they're just being like fun people, I guess. And I get that. But you know that is one part of your life, but you should also have a part of your life where you have a true sense of motivation and true sense of purpose. People who really want to bring you up, pull you up, and want you to achieve good things in your life. So yeah, and I showed her like how I made my resume, and she was doing it in the whole long way of like using Word and stuff. And I just showed her how to do it on Canva. She's like, "Oh my God, this is like great!" Everything. I was like, "Yeah, this is it's simple." And people showed me, I showed you. I'm really happy that it helped you. Um, and yeah, and the last thing is, I did say last week that I want to go and do charity every Sunday. Not charity, but like just buy some pizzas and give it away. But I think I'm gonna bring it down to once per month because financially I'm struggling right now. And they say that you gotta build yourself first before you can start helping other people. Uh, but I don't completely agree with that. You know, because I'm capable. I have all my limbs and I have my brain and I have all these resources that those people don't have. And if I still don't do anything, then like really I'm the loser. So I hope I can get back to 4 times a month. But for now, I'm bringing it down to just once per month. And if financially things go well, then we'll see how we pick that up. Um, Next thing is financial. I am I need to look for a job or a full-time songwriting job. People tell me that I could be a writer for some movie for Netflix shows and things like that. And I don't know, that'd be kind of cool because uh, a songwriter is a writer first and then a songwriter. You know, I feel like most songwriters just focus on the song part, like the music and just how everything sounds and stuff. And of course, that's important. But I think the writing part is what gives it the heart, the meat, and the potatoes, kind of. Um, and honestly, I can start seeing this. Like, they say in order to be a good writer, you need to just, like, if you read 100 books, then, you could write one. And I'm starting to see that, like, as I'm reading more and more books, just you get imbibed with, like, these different perspectives. And also, it takes a lot of discipline to write a book, which means that everything that you read in a book is very, very well thought out, well crafted, and every line is written so that it has some sort of an impact. And that's the beauty of a book over a blog or like a small quote or something. It has to have the ability to hold your attention for longer and to really put forth an idea, which is a broad idea, clearly by fragmentizing it into individual elements. And so that's why I really think that books are so great. And I'm, 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 I'm becoming a better writer as I'm reading more books. Uh, I need to look for more shows. I'm proud of myself that I actually got a comedy show on the 10th. I'm playing another one today. And then on the 24th, I'll be playing another one. So that's like 3 shows this month. Uh, None of them are paying me. But I'm hoping that, like, if I get the video from each of these and if I make good connections, eventually it would, and establish good relationships, eventually it could lead to something positive and something that could generate revenue. But that being said, yeah, I really need to figure out a way to make some money fast. You know. Um, Anyways, I'm also applying for a comedy contest. It would be really huge if I win this one. I don't know if I will. I need to gauge the competition. I keep thinking about how how can I, win this competition, and like winning this competition would be so helpful because It's going to help with my O1 application. It's going to open some doors for me, uh, in my career and reaching out to managers and things like that. It's just going to be something new, and I know that there are comedians who've been doing comedy for a very long time, uh, but I feel like I've been doing music and writing and everything for a very long time, so I don't really have much to show for it either. So, and it's okay even if I don't win, like I'll meet a bunch of people who are serious about this or willing to invest money to see where this goes. And if I make friends with those people, it really shows that these are the people who are in it to win it, kind of. And as they say that you can't win alone, you have to go in a group. I mean, what is that? Like be alone if you want to run fast, and be together if you want to run far. And I agree. Like, and I think you should do both. It shouldn't be this or that. When you're by yourself, run fast, and when you're with other people, help them grow. And hopefully, if you help them grow, there will be some way that they can come and help you, which you never anticipated. So, help other people. It comes back to you. It's very ironic, I know, but it does. You know, Anyways, it won't come back to you in the ways you expect, though, but it will come back to you in ways you do not expect. And I think that's quite interesting. It's quite surprising. Um, and I've been wondering about the psychology of that. And I just think that when you help somebody, firstly to yourself, you show to yourself, you prove to yourself that I have I have enough that I can give. Uh, and that is what it proves to somebody else as well. Of course, an added thing that I would add to that is give only to the people who want. Otherwise, if you press yourself on somebody who doesn't want to hear you, you are actually doing more harm because you're pushing them away from what they could get to earlier. But again, it's just some things I've learned over time. So that's why I like this podcast, because I'm not pressing anybody to watch it. It's only people who wish to see what I'm up to and how I think and whatnot. So it's your choice to stay and keep listening or leave. No pressure, and I don't take any offense if you leave. Honestly, I think there's way better things out there than what I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on. Yeah, talking about financial, I have a bunch of t-shirts that I'm going to try to sell today after this show. I have 10 minutes on stage, so I'm going to do three songs. And I'll be recording the set, obviously, so that's another thing. Yeah, I made some money on my job, my part-time job. I think like I haven't really been doing much over there because I just haven't been getting a lot of work. And I wish that that work challenged me. It's just I feel like that is a feels like a waste of time for me. I I feel like I could train somebody to do that. You know. Anyways, that's just something that I was thinking about. Um, but anyways, let's move on. Investing. I put some time and money to invest again. Uh, I've been following like Meet Kevin's tips. Like so, what he says is like you should have a checking account and then you should have your brokerage account. And how he goes about it is like how much money do you need in your account? That is the amount you should have. And anything above that amount, you just move it to your brokerage. And that's how I've been doing everything. And so I've set up a range, uh, like a particular amount range. For example, it could be like if I'm just gonna pick numbers which I'm not using. So Let's say your range is from $2,000 to $2,500. So you'd keep that in your checking account. And everything above the 2,500, you start moving into your brokerage. And so the next paycheck comes in, you keep everything till the 2,500, and maybe you spend some money over the month. So you spend about $500 or something. But the extra money that comes in, like you get a $3,000 paycheck, you take 2,500 and just move it to the brokerage and keep just 2,500 in your account. Uh, so sort of like if there is an emergency, you have the option of taking care of that using your checking account. And yeah, it's just a great way to build wealth. And um, knowing like you are really poor still, because your goal is to have like more money in your brokerage, and just your goal is to increase the size of that brokerage account and have that money invested, because the market will grow over time. So you just need to keep investing, and if you don't want to think about the investing, just invest in like a index fund, like an S&P 500. This is a Vanguard one, which he recommends. And yeah, you just keep put that money in the Vanguard. Keep putting it over there, and in time, it's going to grow. And you'll see in like a year, you already have like 30% gains. So it's it's just stuff like that. You gotta keep doing that. Now going forwards, spiritual. I don't think I really went that deep into the deep end of my spiritual journey this week. But I think one of the gateways to enter the spiritual realm is being grateful. Uh, you know, um, and grateful is essentially just all the things that you have. But this week it was kind of interesting because so far I only used to look at gratitude as like in this moment right now. But now I've started looking at it as a temporal aspect. So I start looking at it like my whole life. And this speech I was listening to by Les Brown, and I think he was in an impact theory meeting with Tom Bellew, and he basically was talking about how his mom, no matter what, he always had a roof over his head, and he's never gone to sleep hungry. His mom always made sure that he was well fed. And I was just thinking of the same for my life. My parents have given me food, and I've always had a roof over my head. It's never been that. I've never seen a really bad day. And it sometimes like really you start looking at people, and like you look at people on the streets, and when I go back in time and I look at people even in India, I just think that I've been so lucky, and I think it was like my responsibility to help the people who didn't have what I had. Because what's the point of having what I have if I can't help other people? It's just really dumb. Um, so yeah, I hope that by the time I die, I could create a system where nobody ever, you know, goes to bed hungry, and nobody ever has to worry about where they're going to sleep at night, and they are comfortable. At least those basic night needs are met. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. Like if I could somehow make that happen. And there's a lot of people who are on this journey with me. So I think I will be successful in doing that. Uh, because a lot of things were given to me uh, without anything being asked in return. And yeah, somebody else planted like the tree, and I got to eat the fruit. They never got the fruit. And it might be possible that I could plant trees in my life which might mature, uh, 100, 200 years after my death. But the fruit from that tree would hopefully nourish more people and help them grow their own trees, which could help further generations even more and help humanity progress as a whole, as a civilization. Creativity, right? So I I said that I was working on two songs. I've finished one, and this other one that I have, it's going well actually. Uh, yeah, it's like about me falling in love with a prostitute, and it's just a fun song. I think that uh, you know people would really enjoy it. It'd be interesting to see how it actually plays out. Um, but I think that some parts of the song are really cool. But also, I also feel like there's some transition elements which are not exactly going the way I usually make them happen, and I still need to write the bridge for the song. So there's quite a lot of things I need to kind of finish in that song. But I've made some progress, so it's not the worst. Experiences. I mean, I think the next one I'm going to talk about is going to be something about experiences, but not really any new experiences as such. I mean, this whole list is an experience, I think. But moving forward, I achievements. I played at the Comedy Chateau, and I think I did a good job. People really enjoyed it, and I had them on the roller coaster. I brought them up with "It's Gonna Be Me," and they really were enjoying that song. And I took them to "You Don't Get It." I think I had the sincere element between the two songs, and that really just helped me connect with the audience on an emotional level. And the second song, it starts off with like really offensive jokes, but it's also really funny. But right at the end, it's more offensive than funny. And then when I bring it back to funny again, it just gives a higher laugh level because of the contrast. So it was very, very interesting to take people on that journey. And just when I'm on stage, like that is the best feeling, honestly. When you are on stage, people are looking at you. They don't know who you are, and they are looking at you with like, I get it, like because we're all trying to scrutinize, judge this person in front of us. And I was really happy that I could entertain. Like quite a lot of people came up to me after the show, and they said that they really liked the show, and some people were comparing me with other comedians, and I get that. But I think everybody's on their own path, so it it would be nice if people didn't compare, but we as creatures are comparative. That is an element for improving. So I guess it's just the price to pay. Because if something is great, something has to be not great. Not saying that I'm great. I know there's still a long way to go. Honestly, that stuff weighs so heavy on me because there's so much that I want to do, and I just feel like I'm running out of time. I don't have enough time to do it. All right. Anyways, now we get to the good stuff. Failure. Uh, I'm not gonna lie. After I shot the video and I edited it, I I ended up seeing the video like so many times because I was just so impressed by myself. That I was able to do what I did. I didn't anticipate it to go so well. Uh, but I also knew that like me feeling this way is inflating my ego, and that's why I have this beautiful book called The Laws of Human Nature, and I always every time when I feel like I'm drifting away or being really emotionally being carried away, I read the book and I know the chapters in and out. So not in and out, but I know the gist of each thing, and I know like this is the law that I need to read right now. And it's just, if you're like really flying up high in the sky, it's just gonna beat you down and bring you back to ground. And if you're somebody who's like buried deep in the ground, it's gonna be something that's gonna like take a shovel and dig you up and hurt you on the way in, but it'll also like bring you back to the ground. So it's like it's not a it's like it's like a device which takes you from an emotional high back to the grounding, and also from an emotional low back to the grounding. So, uh, if and I would say you should experience the highs and the lows. But if you are on a time crunch and if you have to, kind of, get some other things done, this is a great book, or this is a great toolkit that you could apply to your human artificial intelligence of sorts. And yeah, it's like a way of manipulating yourself. Uh, so But yeah, that being said, I was really happy and it felt nice to win after a very long time. I will agree that it really felt very nice to win after a very long time. It's because a lot of my accomplishments are, I just gauge them by myself and I think that, okay, this is good, that's good. But there's always an element of it's just that's not good enough. It's not good enough. I wish it was this way. I wish I was better. I wish I could produce better. I wish I knew more instruments. I wish I was better at sight reading. And like, there's so many wishes that I have. Uh, but just an external form of evidence that what I've made is something that people like was very, very, made me feel content for just a little bit. I enjoyed it. Uh, yeah, failure. I didn't go to the gym on Monday and Wednesday. Talked about that. I didn't really learn much about investing this week. I agree. Yes, didn't do much of that. I didn't go busking. I'm kind of like I'm worried about money right now. I was putting too many things on my to-do list. Oh yeah, so this is a good thing that I'm doing right now. And because of that, I was just too many things to do. And I found that when I increase the list really a lot, I don't end up doing things like just things just start slipping out of my fingers. So that's why now I've just started to keep it limited to like just five, not more than five. Uh, and these five things might some of them might take an hour to do, some might take like 4 hours to do. Uh, but yeah, just having fewer things and like less than five. Uh, uh, when I have like less things to do, they get done. So that's something that I was happy about, I guess. uh yeah, and my plans going forward, keep going to the gym, please. Go to the gym 3 times a week. um Socially, I met so many people. I met so many people. But it's important to kind of keep in touch with everybody you meet, because people start drifting away, and it's like there's like a period of time when you really stay with somebody for a very long time, and then that it's like a tree, like the tree grows into like a strong enough sapling for like you grow it for 2 years and it's become a tree now. Now you don't need to tend to it, the environment is going to take care of it, and when you come back to the tree, it's always growing, and it's both, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's to kind of give you an example. My friends from school, I'm so glad that my parents sent me to a school with so many people, that I have so many connections now, and all of these people are spread out all over the world. Most of them in US, some people in India, some people in Germany, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and I'm so happy that I was sent to a school where it was like the school is like a growth and value stock. you know, if you're sending your kids to a school, send them to a growth and value stock school, because the people who attended the school were not that rich in comparison, but the values and the ethics and the things that the school stood for, the discipline and all the values that they taught us, made us the kind of people who are very resilient and can do a lot of things in the world. That being said, there's still a lot of things we need to learn, but they gave us the tools to make us a self-iterative process. So yeah, I just right now the people that I'm meeting, I need to make sure that I spend time with them. I spend the next 1 2 years talking to them, and that way we can really have a beautiful relationship. And they say that network is equal to net worth, and I'm starting to understand that because at first I was very self-centered, so I just look out for myself. But now I keep thinking, like, if I meet somebody, like just yesterday I met someone who was from my school, and he's a part owner of a South Indian restaurant. And I asked him that, do you want a musician to come play at your venue, at your restaurant? And he sings in like Tamil and Malayalam and all of these languages. And I was very happy to possibly make that connection. If I was self-centered, I just think that that's not an opportunity for me. So that has been a shift in my own perspective, and that's how I'm trying to understand how network is equal to net worth is, and I think that's how a friend of mine has really grown a lot. My friend Nilay Singh, he's a prolific drummer and great director. I really hope that one day he comes to the US. I predict that he's going to come here. He's going to make great movies. He's going to win Oscars, and but I think he lacks the belief in himself currently. Uh, but the day he starts believing in himself, he's going to, because he has the you know he has the perspective. I've seen it. I've seen him do his thing in real time, so I know he has it. Uh, and yeah, he's always been this guy who has helped me connect to somebody who is in his circle, and assuming he does that for everybody he knows, and that's such a great thing because that way he is growing his network and he's helping people in his network, and somehow people are always coming back to him because they know that he's somebody who provides solutions. So yeah, like it's just I wish there was somebody to sit me down and explain this to me, but I guess I need to. At least I'm leaving the symbol for people in the future. So if they ever see this might probably help them. Uh, Another thing I would like to mention right now is first, at first I used to imagine all the people, at the top that I'd get to work with them. But now I've realized that it's not about getting to work with them. It's about working with the people who are with you and then becoming them. And then other people would want to be like, oh, I wish I could work with them. It's very interesting. The shift in perspective, I wish I had it earlier, but it's okay. It's it's better to be late than never arrive or something. There's another saying like that, right? Anyways, moving forward. Yeah, I was thinking of having this information organized in a neat way because I just keep forgetting so many people. So I was thinking like if I could have a spreadsheet where I write down people's names and what we were talking about and like important events and things like that, just so that it's all in one place. And I know, and of course, like people have this on a certain level where you could just go through chats with somebody and then you just recall who they are. But I just think like this would be like my own little private list, and nobody would have access to it except me. So I could really write horrible things about them and good things about them, but again based on my perspective. Um, and I think I just probably write good things about them. And if I write bad things about them, I try to wonder why is it that I can't understand, or why is it that we disagree. And if I could find that core value, then I would be like, oh yeah, we would definitely disagree on this. Like, if somebody has a growth mindset, and if you're talking with somebody who has a fixed mindset, it's not going to work. Uh, because the growth mindset person can accommodate the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset cannot accommodate a growth mindset. I mean, it can accommodate for a little while if it's above the person who's in the growth mindset, but eventually the growth mindset surpasses the fixed mindset. So yeah, it's like kind of having a way of categorizing people, and I've been meeting people who have a growth mindset recently, so I'm really really happy about that. Uh, So yeah, going forwards, look for more shows every day. I need to reach out to more friends, other comedians, venues, and learning. I guess I need to watch more of Meet Kevin's course. I didn't do much of that. Something cool that I'm also doing is I'm learning Hindi songs to play cover shows. So I'm starting off with like about eight old Hindi songs, maybe bring it up to 10. Just build a set up to like a 45-minute set of sorts. I mean, obviously start off with like 15 minutes, another 15, another 15. And yeah, and hopefully by the end of November, which is like in 2 weeks, I will have the set ready. Seems unrealistic actually, but we'll see. I also am going to apply for this comedy competition. I just need to go for the event and see how it goes, and I'm going to see like what is the level of competition that I'm kind of facing, and I also need to bring a lot of people to the show. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. And finally, I'm getting a driving license next week. Um, like I, I'm not actually going to buy a car, but somebody came to me with this opportunity of going on tour, and a prerequisite for that was you need to know how to drive. So I know how to drive. I do have an Indian license, but I don't have an American one. So I need to go to the DMV on Monday and get that whole thing done. So hopefully uh, by next week I should have the license, and I'll let you know how that goes. And yeah, last finally, I'd like to say that I just want to spend 4 hours every day, just not doing anything. Like just go out and sit and sit with the guitar and just let the creativity happen. Just let the internal monologue play out and see what happens from that. I've been writing my thoughts down and my morning dreams down, uh, and that helps like these ideas and stuff for jokes and whatnot. Uh, so yeah, it's just like taking those 4 hours and creating something of value, maybe a joke or I don't know. It's just working on a set, anything, working on a song, and I used to have like really long term plans, and I still do. Like my goal is to get the O1 visa, so that's not changed. Um, but I'm also right now focusing on the individual events, and I'm focusing on how can I make this individual event go the best way possible. uh, I'm learning a lot of things while I'm trying to maximize a particular event. um, so it's kind of like, rather than just spreading yourself too thin, like finding small things and or like individual things and really getting the most value out of it, and also giving the most value to it. Actually, it should be the giving the most value to it first, and then you keep doing it, and it will come. And I remember this saying is like, in Hindi, what is it? Karm, karm and phal, or something like that. It's just like, uh, I keep forgetting that saying, man. But essentially, it's like this Hindi saying, which means that don't worry about the fruit, just uh, focus on tending the garden or sorts. Like just focus on the work, and the fruit will come. And it may not come, but what you have to do is you have to work, and then we'll see how things go. So, um, I mean, of course, I mean this movie I'd seen Welcome, in that he says that, oh, you know, जैसा कर्म करोगे वैसा फल मिले. Oh, I get it. So the kind of work that you do, that's the kind of fruit that you get. So whatever is the kind of fruit you want, do that kind of work. It's just a dumb saying. It's a like, obviously everybody's gonna go, oh yeah, obviously dumb shit. Uh, but common knowledge is not that common. Um, yeah, just I'm gonna pursue every opportunity that comes my way and try to do my best, and we'll see how things go. Uh, but yeah, I definitely am living a relatively short-lived, like short-term life. Like I used to live like having a long-term life kind of a thing, but I think that's okay to do when you're like on a track that somebody else has placed, like a educational curriculum or something like that. But when you're creating your own thing, I guess it has to be self-iterative and eventually go from a day to a week to a month to 2 months to 3 months, and your projects start building up. I don't know. I don't know. It might be different for different people, but I think that's how it's kind of worked for me. Uh, so yeah, that's about it about this week. Um, that was Exponential Creativity Podcast, the 32nd episode. I also, I this time I'm gonna take some time to upload this, and I'm gonna do it right, which means I'm gonna make the thumbnail. I'm gonna take the time to do the description, uh, and I'm going to have the hashtags or whatnot, and yeah, because I think the last one that I made, I just didn't really try to do a good job. Like I mean, I did the thing, but then I didn't sit through it and like really just label it properly and things like that. I think that it's important to do that, because when I come back to it, how will I know? So that's kind of what I start getting into. But yeah, that's enough about me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day. And if you are somebody who's creative and you're going through a tough time, I hope that your tough time keeps going on, and you learn some valuable lessons from that. You know, or somehow you could even get a sense of humor about it. So, anyways, that's enough about me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.